Have you noticed an increasing number of Tata cars on our roads recently? If you have thought of buying one, you are not alone. This represents a significant shift from a few years ago, when Tata Motors was largely perceived as a fleet driving vehicle. Now it has become a real contender in the passenger vehicle segment. Let's back up a bit though and talk numbers. Over the last 3 years, Tata Motors stock has shown an impressive growth of nearly 400%, outpacing Mahindra's 200% and Maruti's 66%. The driving force behind this trend, a major transformation that is happening inside Tata Motors. Tata Motors is not a monolith. It operates 4 distinct divisions: Jaguar and Land Rover, passenger vehicle, commercial vehicles, and car financing. The revenue split is also very intriguing. Jaguar and Land Rover contributes about 67% of the overall revenue and also accounts for the majority of their profits and losses. The commercial vehicle division, with a solid market share of 45%, brings in 17% of its overall revenue. But the star of the show, the passenger vehicle division, despite contributing only about 11% in revenue, is the fastest growing segment, which is on the brink of overtaking Hyundai with its market share of 13.5%, just a smudge away from Hyundai's 14.5%. To add to that, its vehicle sales growth rate for the period is a robust 46%, overshadowing Hyundai's 9.6%, indicating a real chance of surpassing the Korean leader. Once the pioneer of indigenous cars in India, with the launch of Indica in 1998, Tata Motors experienced several ups and downs: ambitious acquisitions, design flaws, a political controversy in Singur, West Bengal, and the not so successful venture with the world's cheapest car, the Nano, all leading to a somewhat bumpy journey. In this video, we'll take a deeper dive into Tata Motors' evolution, particularly the changes in their passenger vehicle division that has turned the tide for this automotive giant. Before we dive deeper, let's take a moment to understand the landscape in which they operate. The Indian automobile market is highly dynamic and fiercely competitive, with several major players vying for market share and consumer attention. Maruti Suzuki is a long-standing leader in the industry and has maintained its dominant position with a wide range of popular and reliable cars. Their extensive dealership network and brand loyalty have made them a go-to choice for many Indian consumers. Hyundai, known for its stylish design, feature-rich vehicles, and strong consumer focus, has also carved a significant space in the market. In addition to these established players, other manufacturers such as Mahindra, Volkswagen, Skoda, and several international brands are also actively competing to capture the attention of Indian consumers. The market is constantly changing, with newer models and technologies being introduced regularly to meet the evolving preferences and demands of customers. If you look historically, Tata Motors had actually dominated the sector, where their market share was about 16% in 2000, but it fell to about 5.6% in 2013. This decline can be attributed to an increasing competition in the Indian market, coupled with Tata Motors' struggle to launch new and successful products. Basically, they were not able to understand what did the customers want, and they were outcompeted. The financial year 2023 was a milestone for the passenger vehicle industry as a whole, witnessing a 27% growth compared to the last year. Total sales reached a record 3.9 million units, beating the previous record set in 2019. But the real head turner is Tata Motors. It had its best year ever, selling around 540,000 units and achieving a Vahan market share of around 13.5%. That's an impressive 45% growth, which is significantly higher than the industry growth rate of 27%. So what's the secret behind Tata Motors' impressive comeback? The credit partly goes to their former chief, who had joined the company in 2016. The Airbus veteran charted a course of recovery outlining 6 angles of attack. His strategy centered around top-line cost reduction, core process improvement, customer-centric approach, embracing new technologies, innovating business models, and partnerships, while at the same time fostering a lean and accountable organization. And then Tata Motors hit the road with these core principles, and the journey since then showcases their successful implementation. Let's start by discussing how they reduced cost and improved core processes. It becomes evident that Tata Motors grappled with significant weaknesses at that time. They were dealing with too many diverse models and limited production capabilities, which inflated their top-line cost. Imagine you're cooking up a feast for a crowd, but every dish requires a different set of ingredients and utensils. Quite a mess, right? The fix was Tata Motors turned the tables by implementing 2 transformative strategies. Adapting a platform-based approach, Tata Motors shifted its entire product range onto 2 design platforms: Omega, developed by JLR, and Alpha, made in-house, to make its operation more cost-effective. Start by picturing this. All your dishes now use a shared set of core ingredients, allowing you to bulk buy and reduce the preparation time. The platform idea might sound a bit technical, so let's try to break it down. Imagine you have a range of different cars. Each look unique, but under the hood they share 60 to 70% of the same components. It's this commonality that creates a raft of benefits, such as cost reduction, production efficiency, simplified supply chain, and quicker time to market. It also meant that they could innovate faster. And even if a new launch didn't fly, its products could be reused. Tata Motors' platform strategy led to the creation of several successful models, such as Nexon, Altroz, and Harrier. These models built on the new platform were well received in the market, marking a turning point in Tata Motors' comeback. In addition to their platform strategy, Tata Motors took a fresh approach to vehicle design and features. They established safety, earning high safety ratings on several models, and embraced stylish designs that appeal to the modern consumers. Along with this, they strategically retired a few underperforming cars from the track like Hexa, and some older models like Sumo, Nano, Aria, Zest, Bolt, Indica, and Indigo. The second string to their comeback was ramping up production capacity. The larger the production volume, the lower the cost per unit, contributing further to top line reduction. Think of it like buying in bulk. The more you produce, the lower the cost per unit. It's simple economies of scale, and it's a crucial factor in top line cost reduction. And here's a quote from Shailesh Chandra, who heads Tata Motors, where he states the main reason for such success was basically they launched a portfolio of products right in the sweet spot of growth which was happening in India, style, expressive cars with best-in-class safety and reliability, while at the same time increasing the production capabilities from 11,000 cars to 45,000 cars monthly, which made a significant difference. Tata Motors has sold around 540,000 cars in financial year 23 versus 372,000 vehicles in the last year, which is a 45% growth from previous year and accounts for a 50% growth in revenue during the same time period. Now going to the point of customer-centric approach. This may seem like a very straightforward principle, but truly understanding and implementing it can be quite challenging. As a side note, if you have watched the video till now, then consider subscribing. It really helps in growing the channel forward. When it comes to customer centricity, Tata Motors has really excelled. And you can see that by their new line catering to the younger audience with models such as Tiago, Tigor, and Nexon, keeping their finger on the pulse of market trends. They turned their focus towards the rapidly expanding SUV segment, a category that has ballooned from accounting for 15% of overall passenger vehicle sales in 2015 to a whooping 42% in 2023. With the Nexon as their star players, Tata Motors has emerged as a leading SUV manufacturer in financial year 23. Their customer-centric philosophy extends beyond merely product offerings. Take for instance their black models. These vehicles are designed to be more than just a means of transport. They are envisioned to be an extension of the owner's personality. Vehicles that add a touch of cool to the driving experience. It's basically what I'm trying to say is that they understood what the new customer wants. Now a discussion on customer-centric innovation wouldn't be complete without mentioning electric vehicles. Amidst a market where others were merely contemplating the introduction of EVs, Tata Motors powered ahead, repurposing a petrol car into an electric vehicle and being the first to launch in the country. Since that pioneering move, they have relentlessly built on their lead. In financial year 23, the EV segment skyrocketed with a growth of 170%, spurred by new launches and a surge in customer acceptance. And it's clear that Tata Motors has no intention of lifting their foot off the EV accelerator, where Shailesh Chandra foresees a future fueled by clean energy and large vehicles. Our journey in the future will be driven by more electric cars. We expect 20 to 25% of the next 5 million cars that we produce to come from EV. Leveraging its three EV offering, Nexon, Tigor, and Tiago, Tata Motors has swiftly conquered an impressive 83% of the overall Indian EV market. But they're not taking a breather just yet. The company recently declared an ambitious plan to invest a whopping 15,000 crore in this sector over the next half decade, and to introduce approximately 10 new products. Their freshly minted Tiago EV, launched at an inviting price of Rs 8.49 lakh, received over 10,000 bookings the very day of the launch, making it the most affordable EV worldwide at this moment. But as Shailesh Chandra puts it, Tata Motors isn't trying to make the cheapest car. They aim to strike a balance between affordability and aspiration, refusing to compromise on features and style. And now when it comes to partnership front, Tata Motors has secured a staggering $1 billion in funding from the private equity giant TPG for its EV division only. They have also inked a MOU with the Gujarat government, to establish a battery manufacturing plant worth over 10,000 crore. While all these stories are truly noteworthy, Tata Motors Indian division indeed appears to be on the right path. Not only have they reached their lowest debt level in India over the past 15 years, but they are also seeing their highest ever revenue. But one must bear in mind that up until now, Tata Motors was essentially playing catching up. The reason they were able to grow this swiftly over just a few years is primarily due to increased demand that India was witnessing over the last year, which catalyzed their recovery. Also, their successful implementation of platform and customer centricity were key factors that other major players had already adopted, leading them to initially lose their market share. So if you're thinking that Tata Motors is poised to take over the entire Indian market based on the past few years, that might be a leap. The auto industry is fiercely competitive. Fortunes can reverse in just a few years. And its competitors like Maruti Suzuki still holds the crown of the biggest players, while its cars are also performing really well. And on the other hand, Hyundai may have had a few slow years, but its sister company Kia is thriving. And let's not forget Mahindra, steadily increasing its market share, which I think I should cover in a separate video on its own. Other contenders like Volkswagen, Skoda, and a plethora of other car manufacturers are lurking in the wings. So it's safe to say the race is far from over. But it's just getting started. Now, when we talk about electric vehicles, they are undoubtedly the future. But they are just a budding category right now, with relatively low volumes, contributing only a tiny fraction to the bottom line. I'm not trying to discount their significance. Over the next decade, we can expect EVs to size a increasingly larger market share, becoming 10 to 15% of the top line. While Tata Motors has made impressive strides in the EV segment, there are still significant challenges to address, particularly when it comes to scaling up EV production. The success of EV hinges on factors such as sourcing essential components, manufacturing batteries economically and at scale, and establishing a robust charging infrastructure. Another critical aspect is the economical and efficient production of EV batteries. The cost and availability of battery cells play a significant role in determining the affordability and viability of an electric vehicle. Tata Motors has already taken steps in the right direction by forging partnerships and increasing battery manufacturing. The recent collaboration with Gujarat government to set up a battery manufacturing plant points to a direction in the right steps. By producing batteries domestically, Tata Motors can reduce dependency on imports and also brings down cost, making EVs more accessible to a wider consumer base. Furthermore, the establishment of a robust charging infrastructure is essential for widespread adoption of EVs. Tata Motors, in collaboration with various stakeholders including government bodies, utility companies and other industry players, is actively working towards expanding the charging network. By strategically placing charging stations in key locations, developing fast charging technologies and promoting interoperability, with the main focus being to elevate range anxiety and enhance the overall EV ownership experience for consumers. As Tata Motors scales up its EV production, it's worth mentioning that competition in EV is only going to intensify. Mahindra and all other manufacturers are gearing up to launch its own lineup electric vehicles, aiming to challenge Tata Motors' dominance. The competition will undoubtedly drive further innovation and advancement in the EV space, benefiting customers and the overall market, but it would definitely prove to be a challenge for Tata Motors. With this, we have come to the end of this video. I hope you liked it and found it useful. If you did, then consider subscribing and I'll see you across in the next one. Also, as a quick side note, let me know in the comments what other videos do you want to see or what other companies do you want me to cover.